It's David Gray live from Studio X here on XRT. Well, David, thank you so much for being here. Welcome back to Chicago.
Thank you.
It has been a while, a few years. I think the last time you played here was at Park West.
Yeah.
It was Rock for Reading benefit. And I think it was one of the first shows, at least it was at the very beginning with the new band.
Yeah, it was, well, yeah, it was. It was early stages. We'd done a British tour, so we popped over here to say hello. And that gig was where our gear couldn't meet us in time, because we were moving that fast across the country. So
right.
We had to hire everything. It was interesting.
Well, that was like as you were saying really early on, in that time, and I guess the results of the new album, Draw the Line, would be evidence that it's all working out quite well with the new band.
Yeah, it's been great. I mean, it's a new lease of life for me. I know from a punter's point of view, you know, it's a different thing when you've got used to something and you like it and suddenly it changes. But it's the nature of everything, you know. You chop down an oak tree and then something else grows in its place, so it's just a part of the process.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing, especially after all the success you've had in the past, to suddenly just, well, not suddenly, I'm sure there's a lot of thought behind it, but to blow it up and to go into a whole new direction, it must be quite liberating, in a way.
Yeah, well, it was totally liberating, and I think that feeling sort of courses through the veins of the new music and the new performances too. There's a relish to it. I think that your biggest fear is repeating yourself, or one of them anyway. It's one of many things you have to keep your eye on if you're sincere about making music and not just falling into some sort of rhythm for the sake of it. So it was necessary, and it's the new band has a different style, you know, and it's allowed me to sing a different kind of song and sing even the same sort of ballads that I would normally sing anyway. There's a sort of stock routine that I kind of get into, you know, which I'm sort of aware of, but this just puts a different slant on it. But it's also enabled me to sing songs that are more, well, they're relative to songs I used to sing earlier in my career when I was a bit more sort of angry and stuff, you know. I've always been angry, I've just been keeping it well hidden. It's never been a sell, Dave. Just look like you're friendly and
You know, that's the scariest kind of anger, actually. But it seems like on the new record, it's a real collaborative effort with the band. I noticed that there were 5 or 6 songs possibly that everyone has songwriting credits on. Is that something new for you?
No, I'll tell you the way that it works is that, I mean, I still write a lot of songs just on my own with the piano and guitar or whatever. But these days I like to work more off the cuff. So I'm lucky enough to have the facility to be able to attempt that. And what I mean by that is to get everybody in, and we'll be working on something usually that I've written, and but maybe it's not working out, or maybe just when you sort of relax a bit, you start to play something else, and then someone else joins in, and, you know, and it's the beginning of Draw the Line, and you sort of, I'm playing my little riff, and Robbie picks up on it with the bass part, Neil starts to jangle over the top, and then suddenly my ears prick up, and I'm like, right, okay, there's something going on. As I turn the tape on, this is happening. So I start to get a few lyrics, and it starts to go, and then we put a drum part on, and it's like, right, hang on a second. So then this is the end of the day, so that's why everyone gets a credit, because the song is born while everyone's there. Now then I just take the very raw materials, like 2 chord changes, and I take it away and I make a song out of it, and I write all the lyrics, so that bit's the same, but it's the fact that it comes out of this moment, which wouldn't have happened if everyone hadn't been there to interact with, so that's why I think it's right to give everybody credit in that way, on the publishing anyway, because it just wouldn't have occurred. So if they hadn't been there, so there was a lot of that, and I like to try and catch things really, really fresh. So with that particular track, which is as good an example as any, we worked it up to a certain point, just enough that it was turning over in my mind, and I realised there was a song there, and then the lyrics just began to come, and this is what I mean about the new band as well. It just, I don't know, there was a sort of lurch to the music, a sort of toughness to it, without being sort of overstated in any way, and it just enabled me to sing a different song. And I think all the changes I've wrought in and out of the music, behind the scenes, are indicative of a change in me as well. There's a sort of bit of a change of feel, like feeling far more into the world, outward, rather than maybe just slightly in my shell a little bit. So suddenly all this cascade of ideas just began to pour out, and the relish with which I began to write the song, I mean, like lines like the silverfish line in the song, which people pick up on, I had like in my notebook for probably 8 or 9 years, wondering what I was going to do with it. I was like, fantastic, it fits. It's like having that bit of furniture that you've not managed to get into the house, and so you knock a couple of rooms through, and suddenly, hey, presto, the sideboard fits in. I was like over the moon about that. So it was really off the back of that one very anal moment that the whole album was written. So this whole process, and then, so basically I wrote like the devil all night, and I couldn't sleep, and I maybe got a couple of hours sleep, and I just rang everyone up to get in early, forget what we were doing yesterday, we're just going to do this new song today. So then we just cut it that day. So at that point it was as raw and fresh as it could possibly be. I still had millions of like lyrical options, too many bits, and been chopping bits out, and the actual take we did was much longer than what's on the record, because it incorporated more stuff that I didn't know what to do with. We just chopped that out afterwards, as is often the way. So it's an edit that's on the record to some extent, but basically it's just exactly what happened. And by this point my brain was sort of shorting out, because I basically overstimulated myself into the songwriting state, and but that's how I like to work. So what I got, and when I heard that back through the speakers, we put the bowed bass on there and a bit of whirly, and suddenly the track was just, I was like, this is what I've been waiting for. That's why I changed everything, because this is a new thing, this is the new start. I said, right, this is it. It's like that one got pinned up on the blackboard, that's the standard bearer. The record starts here.
Yeah, well, when we heard that single for the first time, that's what we thought, like, wow, this is a whole new direction. Now,